This is Ultimate Insulation Spray Foam Crew Helper, standard operating procedure. I am getting my suit on along with my head sock and my full face. I don't have the magenta cartridges on, but you absolutely need those for the mask to do its job. In spray foam, you're gonna have a lot of prep. You're gonna put plastic over anything that can't get spray foam overspray on it. The overspray is just when you spray and it doesn't stick to the wall or the ceiling, whatever you put it on, and it'll come off. It happens every job and it's impossible to avoid, so you need to cover everything that can't get foam on it.
Here's our startup procedure for our generator. You're gonna hit the green button first, and then wait a second and push the orange button, and then the lights will kick on showing preheating, and you're gonna wait and let the generator start itself. And then once it starts, you're gonna give yourself 10-15 seconds of letting the generator get booted up, running, applying power to everything before you turn around and turn your main breaker for the trailer on. And then you would turn on your air compressor and then go into the back of the trailer and start your reactor turn on. Now turning on the reactor, you're gonna do your main control power, being assured you have the emergency stop button pulled out. And then the very first thing you're gonna wanna do is turn your hose heater on. The hose heat is gonna take the longest to warm up. You'll go through, get your rig set up and ready to go. And then just before spraying, you'll turn your A and B heaters on.
And you'll also turn the motor power on.
And then to cycle your heats, to change your temperatures, you're gonna push the cycle button on the left. It's the little yellow button to the left one time until it says SP1 on the digital readout. Then you'll go either up or down with your temperatures with the arrows that are the second and third button coming from the left. And then once you have your temperature to the temperature you would like, you would hit the cycle button again multiple times until you see a temperature readout come out, which would be, say, 120 degrees. When 120 degrees shows up on your screen, then your temperatures are set. Shutting down pretty much from left to right, you'll turn off your A side heater, your B side heater, your hose heater, your motor control, hit your main control power, and then push your E-stop in.
You also need to pay attention to these top gauges. The minimum temperature that you can start spraying at is 68 and the max would be 80. This can also change depending on what product you have, so just go by these unless you are told differently. So here Roberto is cleaning off his mask and putting on a protective piece of plastic that is sticky that he'll take off at the end of the job. This is just for the foam that will get on his mask while he's spraying. And if you're going to be near the foam gun, you're gonna want that on. But if you're not gonna be anywhere near it, then it's not super important. CJ is stuffing these cracks or gaps up here because if we foamed them, they would go outside and they'd get all over the building, which would be a big problem because foam is very sticky. We need to make sure that every gap is filled so when they're spraying, none of it can escape to the outside. So here it's high up in the air, so we needed to use a lift. And the helper is just using the lift, moving it wherever the foamer wants him, just so he can keep spraying and crack it out as quick as he can. Another thing that we need to do is just make sure that the hose doesn't get run over, so you got to hold it up while we're moving. The reason that we're putting the cardboard up here is the same reason as the fiberglass. We can't let any of the foam get outside of the building. So before we spray it, we got to make sure that that cardboard is secured there. The helper can always go along if it's possible and do it ahead of the sprayer. And CJ is up here scraping off foam that got anywhere that's not supposed to be there. We'll use stud scrapers like this. If we're ever spraying in between studs, it gets on there a lot, so we'll need to use these. But there's nothing that's going to go on the roof deck, like any drywall or anything, so you don't need to do it on the roof of this job. And CJ's going along, pulling all the plastic down after the foamer's already out of that spot because they don't need it.